Hello, my name is Pedro Mora with Pacific.ca on the web as well as on community cable television. We're presenting today the candidates for Burnaby, Coquitlam, New Westminster, Port Moody, and we invited all candidates, but only 6 accepted our invitation. And today at 10:40 in the morning, we have only 4 that have shown up so far. So maybe 2 more will come later on. But we're going to start our program with Bill Siksay. And he was elected in 2004, but worked with Ben Robinson for another 19 years or so. And therefore, he is here to tell us why he wants to be re-elected on the Vancouver Douglas.
Jack Layton and the New Democrats know that this election is about the economy. We want to ensure that the issues of the kitchen table, issues important to working families, make it to the cabinet table. Those issues include jobs, especially in manufacturing and forestry sectors, where we want to stimulate the new energy economy with green-collar jobs and develop strategies for key industries. We also want to address the growing gap between the rich and everyone else in Canada. Pocketbook issues need to be on the agenda. Issues like gas price gouging by big oil, the credit card charges and ATM fees put out by the profitable banks, and the hidden fees and text messaging fees from the cell phone giants, along with the soaring costs of education, housing, training, childcare, and seniors' care. We also want to rein in the speculative economy. When unregulated bubbles burst, it always drags ordinary Canadians into the financial crisis. And we want to see a top-to-bottom review of the financial sector to make sure that that there is appropriate regulation in place and ordinary people aren't dragged down by the speculative economy. Healthcare is also on the agenda for us. We want to train more doctors and nurses, stop privatization, and improve access to prescription drugs, home care, and long-term care. And on the environment, which we think is one of the top 3 issues, we want to set absolute targets in law for reducing greenhouse gas pollution. We want to make the big polluters pay, and we want to reinvest in environmental solutions. Now, I'm also happy to talk about the war in Afghanistan. I think Canada should be out of that war immediately. I want to see action on housing and homelessness that actually builds homes for Canadians. I want fair immigration laws, fair copyright legislation, and see action on public transit. Thank you.
We have Don Black next, who was a member of Parliament for New Westminster Burnaby from 1988 to 1993 and was re-elected for New Westminster Coquitlam in 2006. So Don, why do you want to continue being the member of Parliament for that riding?
I believe that Canadians deserve a government that has the same kind of confidence in our country that we all share. A government that will stand with you and with me and with our neighbours, not just stand with the banks and the big oil corporations and the big other companies across the world, across Canada. We deserve genuine, honest change in Ottawa. Genuine change, honest change. That's the kind of change I want to see. And what I mean by that, instead of the kind of government that Stephen Harper has presented to Canadians over the last 2.5 years, we need who are doing nothing meaningful to make daily life for Canadian families affordable. They're doing nothing to reduce health care wait times. They've done nothing to ensure a healthy environment for our children and our grandchildren and indeed for ourselves. Instead of that, they've been handing out big tax giveaways to the profitable corporations. Actually, they've handed out, just in the time they've been in government, $50 million. Billion dollars, not million, $50 billion in tax giveaways to profitable corporations in this country. Instead of providing the kind of government that Canadians look for, they're doing everything they can do to delay while the climate change gets worse and while polluters keep polluting in our country. Instead of bringing positive change, they're letting hospital wait lists grow, they're letting education become out of reach for Canadian families, and they're letting families slip further and further behind in the income gap that we've seen in the last many years. I want the kind of change that means your family gets health care when they need it and where they need it. This attitude of Stephen Harper and the Conservatives of just sort of take a number and wait in a line is just not good enough. We've actually lost 2.5 years under Mr. Harper. While nurse and doctor shortages have gotten worse, while privatization has crept into our healthcare system, and while patients have languished on wait lists, it's simply not good enough. Real change means training for new doctors and new nurses. It means a real commitment to home care so that people who sacrificed so much for us in earlier years can live now in dignity and in comfort. And it means keeping family-supporting jobs here in Canada, not shipping them overseas as we've seen the Harper Conservatives do, where they ship our raw logs right out without any kind of industry here in Canada. We've lost in my community about 2,000 good family-supporting jobs in the mills that have closed in New Westminster, and that's just it's a terrible thing that the Harper government.
Yeah, don't block. We are coming to the 3 minutes now.
Okay, I'm just
and
about
maybe
finished.
Okay.
I'll just finish up. I
Seconds.
want the kind of change that builds communities and helps small and medium-sized businesses grow and create good, new, green, well-paying jobs. I want the kind of change that builds a sustainable environment. There's a lot more to talk about. I hope we'll get that opportunity. But what we really need to see is leadership that brings Canada forward in the kind of way that I know all Canadians would support.
Mr. Ron McKinnon is the candidate for the Liberal Party of Canada, and he wants to be the MP for Port Moody, Westwood, Port Coquitlam. So, Mr. McKinnon, you have your 3 minutes to express why do you want to be the MP.
Yes, thank you. My name is Ron McKinnon. I'm a computer systems analyst. I'm a husband and a father of 2 school-aged children. I've lived in the Tri-Cities for 16 years, and this is my first time running for office of any kind. I have a long history in the Liberal Party, all of 3 years. The party makes sense to me, however, and that's why I'm here. One Liberal Party that really makes sense to me is the Green Shift. We all know that we have to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions, but how do we do that without hurting our economy? The Green Shift is the answer. We'll change our tax system. To reduce our emissions and grow our economy, it's simple. Less tax on good things like income, more tax on bad things like pollution. The result will be more income with less pollution. It's like eating your pizza and having your beach body. Now, there are 3 steps to the Green Shift. Step 1, we'll cut the income tax by 5 to 10%, depending on your income. Step 2, we'll raise taxes on fossil fuels so that the polluter pays. And step 3 is we exempt gasoline from the Green Shift. Let me repeat that. The Green Shift does not mean that you'll pay higher prices for gas at the pump. It does mean keeping more of your income tax each year and having a cleaner environment as well. Now, the Conservatives will say tax and spend. Come on. Who taxed and spent this country into a hole during the 80s? Brian Mulroney and the last Tory majority government. Who put our fiscal house back in order during the 90s? Jean Chrétien, Paul Martin, and the last Liberal majority government. For over a decade, we provided excellent, tough financial management. We will provide that again. Under Stephen Harper, our surplus is gone and jobs are being lost. And what's Harper's big fiscal achievement? He cut the GST. That's photo op stuff. It makes about as much difference to your wallet as a haircut does to my weight. That said, Stéphane Dion will not reverse that GST cut. We Liberals don't just cut because we can cut, or tax because we can tax. We build because we can build. And one more thing that we do need to build is a real national child care system. This is economically and socially vital, and it is long overdue. Paul Martin planned a national child care program, and agreements were in place with all the provinces, but Stephen Harper killed it. Instead, Harper gave parents back a tiny bit of their own money, $100 a month per child. Child care for 2 kids can easily top $1,000 a month. Talk about tax and spend. $100 for child care is tax and tip. We Liberals will increase that child care benefit, even doubling it for low-income families, and we will invest in BC's daycare system, creating affordable and safe spaces. These are policies that make sense to me. Maybe my opponent will say that's because you're not a politician. That's true, I'm not, but I know why I'm running, and I know why I'm a Liberal, and I hope I've been able to explain these points to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McKinnon, and you were right on time. The next one is the Green candidate, Mr. Marshall P. Smith, for what is this? New Westminster, Port Coquitlam, or New Westminster.
New Westminster, Coquitlam is where I'm running. Yes. Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you very much, Pedro, for giving me this chance to speak to your viewers about the Green Party platform. I think it's very important that people know about our platform, know that it is a complete platform, and it's what I believe is the best, most comprehensive platform of all the federal parties. And I'd just like to speak a little bit on that matter right now. The title of our platform is Moving Forward, and I think that really captures the essence of the Green Party and what it is what we want to do in Ottawa. Basically, it revolves on three principles. Firstly, integrated policies, policies that help each other, that work with each other, not against each other, and as well policies that are fiscally responsible. Secondly, grassroots democracy, government by the people. Citizens have the power in this system, and government exists to serve us, and this is a core belief of the Green Party. Thirdly, we strongly believe in the concept of the common good. We must reduce inequality in this country. We need to ensure that we have quality public services from coast to coast. These are the things that bind us together as a nation. Now, how is it that we plan to do this? Well, a number of ways. First of all, we need to begin measuring what really counts. GDP is a measurement of cash changing hands. It does not take into account levels of education. It does not take into account states of the environment. We need to begin a new way of indexing our well-being as a country. Investing in Canada's infrastructure, creating healthy businesses, renegotiating NAFTA, protecting fish stocks, and creating a value-added forest industry are also at core economic policies. Fiscal reform involving a tax shift. We need to begin taxing things we do not want and lowering taxes on things we need, such as income and payroll. Improving health care is, I believe, central to the concerns of Canadians in my riding and everywhere. We need to take a much more preventative approach to health care in this country. We need to do much work on shortening hospital wait lists. We need to emphasize outside of hospital treatment. My final comment will be we need to address the gap between the rich and the poor in this country. We need to begin narrowing that gap rather than widening it. And there's much more information available at greenparty.ca. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Marshall. Marshall Smith, sorry. We have two latecomers here, and we're going to start with Doug Perry, who is, his main occupation is in alternative medicine and healing. But he has run for the Green Party several times in Vancouver in the last few years, at least as far as I can remember.
The Green Party's been around for a long time in Canada. We're still thought of as a new party, but we've been active in politics for 25 years, bringing forth lots of good ideas, lots of positive growth ideas for our country and the people in it. We have a very solid and strong platform that has just been gone over by my colleague here. The reason that people should vote for the Green Party is because we offer real change in a positive direction. The other three parties have been sitting in Ottawa, governing our country for a long time, and Canada is falling behind the rest of the world in a lot of areas. As far as toxicity in our country, on a list of 31 industrialized nations, we rank 30th as being, a clean place to live. So people think, oh, Canada is a beautiful place. We don't have to worry about things like pollution here. Actually, we rank 30th out of 31 countries on toxic waste in our nation. It's a real issue. That hasn't happened over the short term. That's happened because one administration after another administration after another administration has failed to bring forth the regulations to prevent industry from polluting our country. And that's causing real health concerns for a lot of people. Cancer's on the rise, everything else. All kinds of disease are on the rise. These are real issues. These affect people every day. I heard the most recent statistic is now it's more than 1 in 8 children are diagnosed with asthma. It's getting crazy. The Green Party has brought forward good ideas, solid ideas to start bringing this in the other direction. We've offered these ideas up, and they're available in our platform. You can check them out. It's time that people started to recognize that we're not only talking about the environment, we're also talking about jobs. Worldwide, 2.5% of homes have solar-generated hot water in their houses. In Canada, we're supposed to be an advanced nation. Our national average is 0.05%.
Okay. We have another latecomer, Mr. Cunningham, and he's running for Burnaby Douglas Burnaby, and he is the Liberal candidate. If we go to your website, we find green video there, but you're actually a Liberal.
That's right.
Please tell us in 3 minutes what your platform is.
Absolutely. Well, this is the third time I've run here in Burnaby Douglas, and as my friend Bill Siksay will attest to, the last two races have been close, cordial, and I thought very thoughtful competitions. And to be quite honest, after the last one, I thought that would be it. But there were three things that happened that brought me back into this race, and I think they really speak to the kind of MP that I want to be here in Burnaby Douglas. The first thing that happened was Stéphane Dion won the Liberal leadership, and he turned the national debate from one of traditional issues to really bringing environmental issues to the forefront. It had always been an issue that all of the parties addressed at some level, but this was the first time that a national leader from a party other than the Green Party really made it a centerpiece of his platform. Now, the second thing that happened was I watched what Stephen Harper was doing to this country. And not only me, it frightens a lot of people. And I had worked too hard in my party and as a political activist my whole life to just stand by and let Stephen Harper continue to do what he has been doing to this country. And the third thing that has happened, again, with all due respect to someone who I quite like, but the Member of Parliament here in Burnaby Douglas, I felt, although he is a very nice fellow, hasn't been able to get the kind of things done here at the community level that I think I would have been able to get done. And I'm talking about specific issues in Burnaby, like getting national attention and national support for the revitalization of Burnaby Lake. I'm talking about getting support for a very significant economic development occurrence that's happening here in Burnaby, and that's the World Police and Fire Games. These are the kinds of issues that should be slam dunks for any effective MP to get support. They're not partisan. You don't have to be NDP or Liberal or Green or Bloc to support these kinds of very worthwhile community initiatives. So those three things combined were really what brought me back into this race. Look, it was very close between the NDP with Bill Siksay and the Liberals, Bill Cunningham, here in the last two elections, and I suspect it will be again. What I endeavour to do is put forward my view, my love of Burnaby, my passion for this community, and my knowledge of how the political system works. Bring those two together to really get some effective representation here in Burnaby to get things done for our community. That's why I'm in this race once again, and that's the kind of Member of Parliament I want to be for Burnaby Douglas.